Hey, hey. Hi, Leos. All right, Leos, because we've got a backdrop now that has a little cabin back there, I wanted to take a look at, kind of like in a no contact situation, what is the moment of clarity that someone has come to? Because when we get into like the image of going to like a little cabin in the woods, it's always like, withdraw, be with nature. You see the hawk sitting there. It's like someone needed to touch base with their guides, maybe kind of find answers. By the way, I am tagging a backdrop that's similar to this, but I couldn't find the exact one for you. But there's, I know you guys like to see some of the stuff that at least is as similar as I can find. So it's in one that's like almost identical, but it doesn't have the hawk on it, but it still is the cabin, in the woods by the river. So anyway, I'll tag that for you. But lots of times I'll give you the exact one if I can find it, or something that's just like an alternate version of it. So just FYI, we have a 4 of Cups upright. We have a 6 of Wands upright. Somebody has come to the conclusion, I have a lot of regret, or they have a lot of regret, and I feel pretty freaking fantastic. This could be somebody who's like alleviating any guilt they have over something, being like, I used to feel really bad about this, but you know what? Honestly, I did just what I was supposed to. We've got an 8 of Swords. Hang on. That 8 of Swords, somebody who's been stuck. We keep seeing a feminine. We have the Judgment card, and we have the 5 of Swords in the reverse. Is this a scenario where Leo held their ground? For a while, Leo was like really stuck and saying, I don't know, was I too arrogant? Should I not have stood up for myself? I maybe I, was toxic myself. But I sure felt like I did the right thing, but then I worried maybe I didn't. I think something is going to be coming around full circle where either Leo is going to be surrendering their stress and saying, I'm making peace with this. As I've mulled and mulled and mulled over it, I know that if I had let that go, I would have had to fight and fight and fight. I didn't do something to be mean. I didn't speak up for myself to create conflict. I spoke up for myself to actually end a conflict so that I could say I'm not going to be treated like that. I stood up for me. And so if that means standing up for myself makes somebody else stay away from me because I'm not enough of a pushover, then so be it. It's better than every day of my life having to get pushed and I have to keep pushing back, So I stood up for myself. And if somebody doesn't like me because of it, honestly, I'm okay with that. Maybe they weren't supposed to be in my life. I have to make peace with this. I feel like that's what Leo's energy is in this. They're saying maybe me making this decision to keep my head up and say, no, I deserve better. It's hard to stand up for yourself. It is hard to do. And I think Leo was almost like mortified, like, oh my God, what have I done? Did I do something wrong? And then they're like, no, I did right. That's what I was supposed to do, right? Was stand up for me. So I didn't do something wrong. I did what I needed to. And I'm not going to take it back. We have a 10 of Wands. Leo is saying, I protected my integrity. I protected like my inner child, or I protected my actual child, or I'm not going to regret this. If I had to tell somebody else, even if Leo doesn't have kids, maybe Leo does, maybe they don't. But sometimes I think about it like this. I don't have children. I was not lucky enough to be able to do that in this lifetime. But I do think sometimes if I were like a role model to a daughter or a son, what would I hope that I would show them? I hope that I would show them how to stand up for themselves. I would hope that I would be able to tell them, not everybody's going to like you, but you should like you, and you should know that you're worth something. And if people don't want to treat you well, then it's okay to say, well, I don't want what you're offering because it isn't enough, because it isn't fair. And then if that means those people want to leave your life, let them leave your life. It's better than taking somebody else's breadcrumbs. Let people go who won't meet you in a respectful manner. That's what I hope I would have I know that's what I would tell my babies, but I think hopefully I would have the courage to act on that myself as well. Because I do actually believe that, even though these are fictional stories about fictional characters, and I don't mean to make this personal, I'm trying to find a way to describe what I see in these cards. This anecdote, of like, how would we be a role model? We would want our children to be treated well. So we would probably support our children in saying, sweetheart, if standing up for yourself makes somebody else not want to be around you, maybe they didn't have any business being around you in the first place. Don't worry about that. You know, if you did something mean, that's different. If you feel bad because you lashed out and you were mean to somebody, that's different. But did you do it for that reason? Well, no, I didn't like how they were treating me, so I kind of had to stand up for myself. And then they didn't want to be around you. Well, then that's their fault. They didn't like the fact that they can't step on you. Better that they realized you can't be stepped on and they left. Be okay with that. I kind of think that's what the message is here. That's where Leo's mind has gone, and they're like, okay, I can let this go. If they can let me go just because I wanted to be treated fairly, then I can definitely let them go. We have a Knight of Pentacles. This has been a long, slow journey for Leo to get to that point. There's a buggy in here. I think I just saw it streak by, or we have quite the orb going through this storyline. Yeah, Three of Swords. This was devastating. It's crazy how sometimes you would think that when we do the right thing, then we wouldn't have grief or pain, right? Because like, but I did the right thing, so why would it hurt my heart? Well, because if somebody let Leo go because Leo had to stand up for themselves, that, of course, that's probably not the outcome Leo wanted. Leo wanted this person to treat them well. Leo worried so much that they had made the mistake, but they also, something prevented Leo from backing down. Let me just ask, what was this about? The Death card, the King of Pentacles. There was something about things needed to change. Somebody needed to offer Leo something stable, a King of Pentacles. They needed to offer Leo, you know, what does a King of Pentacles offer? Security. Somebody that's like reasonable, rational, somebody that speaks and then also listens when the other person speaks, somebody that wants to build something that's stable and long-term, somebody that has a real foundation. That is what Leo was asking to change. We need to get to a stable foundation. Okay, and how does Leo see it? Did this person contribute to that or not? I'm guessing not, since Leo said, well, what needed to change is they needed to offer me something stable. We've got the Chariot, and then we have this Nine of Coins sideways. I don't know if this means that they either told Leo, wow, you're sure insecure, you sure ask for a lot, or you're controlling or demanding because you have problems. They may have tried gaslighting, and then they may have either run away and hoped that Leo would chase them, that Leo didn't have enough self-worth and would chase them. But it's weird because Leo was asking them for something stable and solid. What needs to change is we need to get stability. But if they responded by saying something that like undercut Leo, this is not great to see that Nine of Pentacles sideways. I feel like it was very angled to cause Leo to feel less than, if that's what their response was. And if Leo knew that this person, why should I even be in a place where I have to ask them this? And whatever their reaction was, it might have really lowered Leo, and maybe it was intended to, or was intended to make Leo chase them. Eight of Wands. I don't know. Did they ghost and they wanted Leo to keep reaching out to them again and again and again? That Eight of Wands is about, you know, my God, do we really have to talk and talk and talk about this? I'm wondering if it just boiled down to the fact that Leo had to tell somebody what needs to change is we would have to build something stable. Maybe that in and of itself, Leo's like, I'm never going to be in a place where I have to ask somebody again to just treat me like I matter. Maybe is that the better way to say it? It feels like there was way too much dialoguing. We have a Two of Wands sideways, and Leo still didn't ever know what was going on. Yeah, I think that they wanted Leo to chase them, and Leo was always left, like after a conversation, maybe there was more confusion than anything. And I think Leo finally was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. This is making me, it has made me into the chaser. It has made me into the person, you know, did I chase him away? It was saying, hey, what needs to change is that we'd have to have something stable here. I'd like something stable. And then it's like they couldn't get a direct answer out of this person. Okay, so I think Leo realized that they either got gaslit or manipulated into feeling kind of crummy about themselves, like they were asking for too much just to be treated fair. Let me go over here and ask character. King of Pentacles. We'll call you the King of Pentacles, even though Leo was saying that's what you would need to become for this to work. Okay, they were over here loving their single life. Okay. They were happy. They felt great with their single life. Four of Swords, an Emperor. They loved being single. They were also still healing from things, but they had this intention of either they believed that they were an emperor, but this is how they behaved. I'm an emperor. Look, an emperor can be single and love their life, but usually emperors are not sitting over here saying, I love my single life. I don't want to be around anyone, and I'm an emperor, but let me deal with Leo. That I would think it would be one thing or the other. Like, I'm single or I'm not interested in being single. Which is it? I don't know that you can say both. I want to be with someone, oh, but I don't want to talk to them. And I want to be single, but I'm an emperor. You know what I mean? That looks like conflict. Eight of Pentacles, High Priestess. On their side, there is something where they thought of themselves as an emperor, but they also said, but I'm still working on things and I don't feel like telling Leo that, but I know Leo is really intuitive. Okay. I don't really want to share parts of myself with Leo, but I want to be respected like an emperor. And I am an emperor in my own life, but I know that I'm still working on things also. But I want to be seen as an emperor even now. But I know Leo is picking up on the fact that I'm withholding a ton from them. Okay, I'm sorry, but you can't be an emperor and have the devil. They strung Leo along. They know that they did this. It was super toxic, and they're the ones sitting in the devil's lap. So I'm going to say this. They set up something where they wanted to have Leo in a relationship, but also stay away from Leo. Keep it's not even a secret life. It's that they didn't want to actually have Leo around all the time. Not because they didn't adore Leo, not because Leo didn't make them feel like $1,000,000, but because they themselves had this toxic streak of, I need to feel really, really special while saying I love being single, but I actually am really freaking lonely and I have some stuff I got to heal. But Leo makes me feel like I'm this huge catch and I love it. But I don't want them to know that that's more the way they make me feel than the way I actually am. And in fact, I'm still privately working on a bunch of stuff. And I know Leo senses that there's all kinds of stuff that I haven't shown them about my life. But I want Leo to be all over me. I want them to want me. I want them to text me. I want them to be kind of chasing me. And that is their toxicity. They did set Leo up to have to keep asking what's going on. With that Judgment card, they wish that they could fix this, but I don't know if they are yet untoxic enough to be able to do that. King of Wands, again, I'm sorry, I don't trust this person with the things that they say, because they're like, yes, I am. I'm super, I'm ready to be with Leo now. I'm ready to open up my heart. Then why didn't you do it yet? Because Leo's in this moment of clarity where they're like, you made me feel like I was asking for too much just to say, what are we doing? You strung me along. You set me up in a way to gaslight me or create this need that couldn't be fulfilled, and then got me kind of hooked. And then I couldn't figure out what was up from down, and then kind of felt bad about who I was, and then ended up so confused, more confused than ever. But I finally know that I stood up for myself, at least in demanding an answer and then letting you go if that's how it had to be. That's how it played out for Leo. But on their side, they're having this clarity that they want to be a king and a queen of wands. They are at that place where they know what they did was super toxic. They tried to get Leo to chase them to make themselves feel good, even though they weren't ready to give to Leo. That Four of Swords says it all. I was in silent mode. I was a single person's mode, but God, Leo made me feel like an emperor, and I loved it, even though I wasn't going to give to Leo like an emperor, but I wanted them to think that I was one, because it felt so good to be made to feel that way. And so I intentionally, even though Leo was figuring me out, I tried my best. I tried to be more dodgy. I tried to be more out of Leo's grasp, because the more I could hide myself away, the more Leo might still think that I'm an emperor, not somebody who's actually still wounded and trying to figure things out and still working on myself. That was mean. I'm sorry. That was very toxic. They have a lot to make up for. And I think that a lot to heal Leo from, because I think that them saying, no, but now I want to make it right. That's a lot that you need to fix. That was pretty brutal. You did what was making you feel good at the expense of somebody else. leveraged Leo to make you feel special and knew you were doing it. That's the part that makes it toxic, because it was so much yum yum feel good for me, but without the consideration of I'm stringing Leo along and it could be hurting Leo's feelings the way I'm treating them. Instead of just telling Leo, I'm nuts about you. You think I'm great. Honestly, I'm not that great. I have a bunch I'm still healing from. I'm trying to like not let you see that because I want you to think the world of me, Leo. But I'm not trying to hurt you in doing that. They couldn't come clean about that. That's the part that's kind of toxic, I think. Um, Five of Pentacles and Knight of Cups. Yeah, they know this. They know all this. They also know that they lost somebody really, really, really special, somebody that they actually have a lot of love for. They know that they have a lot to make up for. Both of these are like pretty barren landscapes. And they've been sitting in this lonely cottage for a while saying, I really did a number here, didn't I? They're not an emperor. They want to be now a king, but they have to start out as a knight that has to first approach Leo. Hey, this person has a lot to fix. Final message on their part. Three of Pentacles. I wonder if I could rebuild some kind of a relationship with Leo, even though it's Swiss cheese right now. We got a lot of holes, and it might take a long time for Leo to maybe trust me again. But I wonder if I could ask Leo to give me, a chance to like build a friendship at least. Let me go back over to Leo for just one message here. Page of Wands. This Page of Wands would not normally have this telescope. Normally we would think of that as like a Page of Swords, but I have to say, in this scenario, I do think Leo was really drawn to this person, but was epically confused and did stand up for themselves and did pull their energy back when this person didn't provide them with, consistency. Maybe this was even like long distance. And it's like, okay, so wait, when am I seeing you again? What do you mean? Whenever. It's like they were creating this need, this hunger, so that Leo could keep making them feel really special and like, I can't wait to see you. And what are we doing? And okay, wait a second. I don't get what you're doing with me. It makes it feel like you're messing with me somehow, and I can't be messed with. So I got to go. I think Leo made such a right choice in letting this person go. And I almost think, because we have explore and travel and a compass here, I almost wonder if Leo's like, I'm sorry, but I'm looking right now for other fish in the sea. Leo might be actively becoming interested in dating somebody else. Seven of Cups. Leo's definitely open to options. If this character is going to get another chance with Leo, I will put it this way. They will have to possibly contend with other suitors, because Leo literally just said to themselves, I made the right choice. If I told somebody like, you got to be serious and offer me something serious, and they didn't, then you know what? I'm ready to meet other people. And that's where Leo is at. And Leo is genuinely ready to meet other people. Someone maybe that doesn't play games. This obviously also, this emperor person has not even yet returned into Leo's life. They're just now having these moments of clarity. So Leo might already be shacked up with somebody else. Leo's not going to be alone this winter. I can tell you that. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up.